What's going on, everybody? It is Aloof Balloon here yet again for the Alliance After Dark podcast. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It is the premier Retro Bowl podcast. It's a great title because I think we're the only Retro Bowl centered podcast as well. So it's a title that I am greatly proud of, one way or the other. I am beyond excited for this particular episode. When I first started, the very first episode we did, we had the founders, the council members of the Retro Bowl Alliance League. And I said at that point, introducing those guys, that these are the reasons for the digital football season. And to be fair, that was a correct statement. But I got to tell you, this guest that we have today is probably the actual reason for the digital football season. I've got none other than the founder and creator of the game itself, Simon Reed. Mr. Simon Reed, how are you today, sir?
That's some intro. Yeah, thank you. I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm beyond overjoyed. This is like talking to a celebrity, someone that you've admired from afar for well, in this case, months. And I'm beyond overjoyed to have you on. So thank you very much for joining us.
That's a pleasure. You're welcome.
And it wouldn't be a podcast without my partner in crime here, Texas Stars. Texas, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. It's really exciting.
Yes, and for our listeners, all credit goes to Texas for setting up this this great episode. As I understand it, Texas just contacted Simon, and away we went.
Yeah, it's funny because it was a little, is he going to answer? Or is he going to want to do it? And Simon, being the awesome guy he is, was just like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So it was pretty easy, actually.
This is great stuff. So Simon, typically the way I've started these podcasts out when I've got a member of a league, is I'll ask them how they got started playing Retro Bowl, where they heard about it. But for you, I guess the question's a little bit different. What inspired you to make the game? I know you've got some programming experience. We'll get into a little bit of that. We'll talk a little bit about some games you've been on the ground floor, but Retro Bowl specifically, I mean, what caused you to do it?
Okay, so I think I was in a bit of a kind of having a barren spell, not really sure what to create, and I was trying out a few different ideas. And I had this idea of doing a kind of American high school simulator, if you like. So it was about being a kid growing up, and you'd have friends and family, and it would be managing relationships and trying to get good grades and all this kind of stuff. And part of that idea was having sport in there. So you'd be on the high school football team. And I came up with a throwing mechanic that is now in Retro Bowl, just sort of dragging your finger and then throwing the ball, and one guy would be running in the park and he'd catch the ball. And that felt really good. And the game around that wasn't really going anywhere. So at some point I just thought, well, let's forget the high school side of it. Let's just run with an NFL football game. And I took the mechanic that I'd found and enjoyed, and just turned it into a full game. And it went from 0 to 60 in the space of a few weeks, and it was solid for about 18 months of work. So it's been great fun, and it was just a simple idea that turned into a full game.
Now, were you doing this like on the side, or is this like your full-time job? I mean, how does that typically work for you?
No, it's my full-time job. It's I've written previous games, so I'm not sure if you've heard of New Star Soccer, but that was a big hit for me. Well, the original versions of New Star Soccer on PC, and they were kind of text-based downloads, and you would pay $5 to unlock the full game. And in 2012, I did a mobile version, and that really changed my life. It just went to number one in the UK App Store, and I was able to basically just work full time on this, on my games, and I've done a few other things since then. So collaborating with some guys with a team in the UK, we did cricket, and we've done a soccer management game. We're currently doing a baseball game. But Retro Bowl was just me, so it was just my full time work. Yeah.
And how does the reaction that you've gotten from Retro Bowl differed from those other game releases? As you know, there's a whole very active community on several different platforms, whether that be Reddit or Discord, which is where we're at right now recording this, or on Twitter. Do other games that you've had releases for had such a active community, or has Retro Bowl sort of been a little bit different from that?
They haven't had this kind of response. I mean, New Star Soccer itself was immensely popular. It had millions. I think it's had like 20 million downloads worldwide, and the response was incredible. I was following Twitter at the time, and I would just search New Star Soccer, and every couple of minutes someone would tweet about the game, just generally saying how addicted they were to it. And so that kind of side of it is very similar to Retro Bowl, but the community on Retro Bowl is something else. It's just so positive. Everyone seems just really in love with the game and really friendly. Most of the comments I get are positive. They're requests for new stuff. There's very little negative feedback. I mean, if I trawl the reviews on the app stores, then yeah, there's stuff there that absolutely winds me up because it's just
sure.
blatantly negative for no reason, or it's blatantly wrong.
Yep.
I try not to read those anymore, but the actual communities around, like say Twitter, Discord, and Reddit are just generally 99% positive, and it's just a really good vibe, good feel.
I wonder too, just again with all these communities, without asking the question in a weird way, but are you aware of how insane the community has gotten? There's a whole universe that exists now with leagues. There's people role-playing different schools, colleges on Twitter. Texas can certainly attest to this. There's inter-league competitions that have been set up now. I just wonder, like, how aware are you of this sort of seedy underbelly that's been created from your game?
I'm aware of it, but not. I have to admit, I'm not entirely up to speed with it all. I mean, there seems to be all these different groups on Twitter, and I'm not sure who's in what group and what they represent. Obviously, there's like college leagues and fantasy type leagues. And
oh yeah.
And I have to admit, I don't actually know how you manage it or what the rules are, and I understand that you kind of post the results of things, but I don't really know how it all works. I've not had time to sort of take part, so I'm kind of aware of it. The scale of it has baffled me. It's just incredible. But
well, the fact that you've helped out leagues out and actually it put some things in the game that kind of made it easier on us is awesome, considering that you don't even know how a lot of these things run. So, but I can send you our rule sheet if you want to check it out. But it's pretty simple. I think to Aloof's point, the international thing, or quote unquote international thing, between the leagues, kind of stemmed from you as well. The RBA back in, geez, I don't know, time is a circle, but back in May or something, we had reached out to you, Simon, about having a website, and I think what you had said was that you would like the whole community to be brought together and all the leagues to have a part on the website. And so we actually did. We went around and we talked to the leaders of each league that were around back then, and didn't get a lot of response. A lot of them were like, we're good. So we kind of just did our own thing with that, but it still kind of stuck in my mind for a few months, and eventually in about, I think it was July, I was like, you know what, we need to group together as a community and do something, instead of being so separate and so foreign to each other. So me along with a couple other people started the International Retro Bowl Association, and we started the World Cup, and we've run two so far, and it's been once about every month that we do that. And basically, the leagues will nominate, a set number of players to just represent their league, and it's kind of, you're playing for league pride just like you would in a World Cup. So it's been pretty fun.
That blows my mind. There's so many people invested in this and willing to give up their time to organise everything, and it's just nothing like I didn't expect anything like that at all. And just going back to the point of adding features or functions that help the leagues run, that's something I want to do, because anything that helps the community is good for the game, and it keeps it popular. So yeah, anything else you need, just let me know.
Definitely.
Ooh, oh boy! All right, I feel bad for your inbox now, Simon. You've opened the floodgates now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's pretty funny. Aloof here is of the persuasion that running the ball is his thing, and so
if I may, Simon. Okay. Retro Bowl, right? It looks very similar, and it plays very similar to Tecmo Bowl, which I'm sure is sort of by design. Yeah. I have to imagine you played it. You were inspired a little bit by Tecmo Bowl, correct?
Yes.
So I grew up as a kid playing that game, and obviously the cheat code was always Bo Jackson, and so I have it ingrained in my 5-year-old head that any sort of retro style football game requires a running back. So, yeah. I mean, any advice you can give as the creator of the game would be beneficial. But yes, no, I definitely run the ball exclusively. Now I have to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, there's been quite a lot of feedback with regards to the running game, in that it wasn't powerful enough. It wasn't rewarding enough, I guess. And so I've addressed that somewhat in the last few updates. But of course, some people, I think, will just exclusively pass, which is a shame. And I think if I could balance it right, it would be, you would be required to mix it up a bit and try and outthink the opposition maybe by mixing it up. So it's something that it's a work in progress.
Right. And it's hard because it's these leagues are based around scoring as many points as possible, and the easiest way to do that is score very quickly, and you can throw the ball a lot faster than you can run it. So that's kind of it's kind of hard to combat that. So
I'm a prideful person.
You are. That's fine.
Well, I do like to run the ball in the game because it feels more realistic. It's the same with a lot of people just only ever go for 2-pointers, and it's like, well, that's not really what it's real football's about. So I try and play the game as if it's a real game of football, right? So I'll do the usual kind of point afters and only go for 2 if it's necessary. But it would be nice if the game kind of reflected reality a bit more in that sense. So yeah, I will try and balance it a bit more, but it's the whole hook of the game is the throwing. I think that's what grabs people. It's the passing game. So it's a difficult one to get right.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the way the game should, quote unquote, should be played, and it's fun that way, and role playing and being able to make it more realistic. And I think I have a save that's dedicated just to that, just to a personal save that I can just put my mind in the game as if it was an actual football league. But for leagues like us, when you have this sort of arms race of scoring as many points as possible, it's kind of hard to justify doing running the ball whenever unless you're like Aloof and you just like, I'm gonna run it anyway. So
Simon, after this podcast, if you want to shoot me like the cheat code, like up A B left right, I'll take that, and we'll keep that between you and I.
Well, I'll have to write it into the next update.
There you go. Right on. I like it.
So
Go ahead.
sorry. So you were talking about it. So do you play Retro Bowl like in your spare time? Do you like play I guess personal save or?
I do have a couple of saves going that I haven't touched for a few weeks. As I say, I've had a bit of a downtime for the last 3 or 4 weeks, just because I felt a bit burnt out by the sort of constant update cycle. So I do have a couple of careers going. They're only about, I don't know, 12 or 15 years in, but when I do play, I do role play as if I'm, taking Bengals or whoever to, from obscurity to complete domination.
So when you're playing, you have your players. Do you get attachments to them, to certain players on your team?
I do, but I think I'm quite harsh.
He's he won't get this joke, Simon, but CLT Royals, a member of ours, would be very happy to hear that. He's a very pragmatic and ruthless owner himself, and he gets some flack for it in our community. So he'd be happy to hear that.
We have a campaign for one of his players that we think was unjustly cut. So.
Oh no, no! It's all about winning. You have to make some harsh decisions.
That's hilarious. Oh man. So what I've actually really liked about it the most, we're talking about it being sort of more realistic and stuff, but I really do like the subtle, sort of simplistic nature of it, and I don't mean that like in an insulting way, but I mean like just it sort of has an arcade, a very real sort of retro feel to it. Again, growing up playing Tecmo Bowl, you pick 1 or 2 plays from a list, and it was very simple, but it was always very addicting. It's not like the games of now where you've got Madden and you've got salaries and you got to re-sign players and you worry about there's something about Retro Bowl that's very addicting in how simplistic it can feel and can be. It makes it very, very easy to get on board with and play. And so I don't know if you get nervous about making it too realistic, as far as team management and all the sort of variables that you throw at the game, or if that's something that you are trying to do. You are trying to kind of build more of a Madden-esque mobile game.
No, that's completely opposite to what I want to do. It's someone said to me a few weeks ago that my approach to game design is very reductive, and I think that's true. I try and boil all what's good about a game right down to its bare essentials, and try and strip away anything that's superfluous. And I think I've got better at that as I've gained experience. So with Retro Bowl, it's almost exactly as I'd like it, and yet I have lots of ideas for either a major update, or if it's too different, I think it would have to be a sequel.
Interesting.
They're not massive. Yeah, they're not massive. It's a lot of what's been requested quite frequently. So kind of moving forward with certain ideas in terms of just bringing a few more fun elements to the management side of it, a few more action elements like kit returns and things like that, maybe some sort of defensive aspect where it might not necessarily be controlling a defensive player, but it would be some more tactical or something more interactive on the tactical side. So lots of things that I still don't quite know what I want to do, but I know there are certain things I definitely want to add. So
I just want to be clear, Simon. You've said just you are you the only one that is actively developing this game, or do you have a partner? Do you have a team, or is it literally just you in front of your computer or laptop developing the whole game yourself?
Yeah, in terms of coding, it's just me. So
wow.
We have Pixel NFL, that's his Twitter tag, John, who does the graphics, and there's a guy, Mark, who handles support requests and emails and things like that. So
Wow.
in terms of actually coding and designing the game, it's 100% me. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and yeah, I mean it's crazy that something so simple has become almost well, I guess it's not crazy, but something simple does become addicting just because it's the playability, the being able to pick it up and start a new save and just go with it. You don't have to. A lot of the team management isn't there because it's simple, so it's great.
Yeah, I mean that the way I like to work, which I kind of discovered as I was working with Retro Boys, I just like to be in control of the whole thing. So some of the previous games I've done, as I say, I worked with a team in Wakefield in UK. That's a collaboration where I've basically been more working on the sort of design side and deciding what the game will be and what the action parts are going to be like, and not actually coding it. And I realized once I started working on Retro Bowl that this is what I love to do, is just me creating a game. And the trouble when you work in a bigger team is that you can't wing it. You can't. Everything has to be decided before you start working on it. Otherwise, you're going to waste time. But when you're working on your own and you're not actually under any kind of deadline or pressure, which I'm lucky to be able to do. This wasn't done with any financial worries. I didn't have to make Retro Bowl to pay the bills. So it was a case of just building it and finding out as I went along what was fun and what worked and what didn't. So there are lots of I'll spend days on something and I think this isn't working, and I'll just scrap it and I'll come up with something else. So, but I love that. I love the fact that it's kind of it finds its own path, and it's not designed by committee.
It's interesting too, Simon, is I think the growth of the game a little bit too stems from the real world events that are going on. What with COVID and stuff, I've had multiple players on the podcast now, and many of them say that they got this game because they were sitting at home and trying to find something to do, and not really a question, Simon, but more of just a statement as a thank you. I know that I'm speaking for everybody that plays Retro Bowl in these communities when I say thank you for making this game, because it's been filling a gap for people, especially here in the States where things have been so crazy and locked down, that I think would have otherwise been missing. And I know you said you kind of keep an eye on the leagues and stuff, but I have to tell you, I personally know that I've made some very, very serious lifelong friends just from playing this silly little game that you've made. And so I just want to communicate that to you. I hope I don't sound over the top or hyperbolic, but it really has become something bigger for a lot of people. And I know that I've got the backing of the entire community when I say that. So again, thank you very much, and very appreciate all of the work that you've been doing over the last several months.
Well, that means a lot to hear that. Actually, it's been a pleasure making the game. It's just a labour of love, and then seeing the response has been amazing. So no, it's been an absolute pleasure.
So I buttered you up, and now I want to publicly shame you a little bit. How would you like to do a little trivia?
Well, I'm a bit nervous.
So
just go and see what happens.
It's always a crap shot. This usually goes either very, very well and people know their stuff, or people don't know anything and it ends up just being a train wreck. But I think we'll be all right. I think this is going to be okay.
So worse than I am.
Right, sure, fair enough. So Simon, on the Google Play App Store for Retro Bowl, it says play football like it's 1987. So, so these questions are centered around things that took place in 1987.
Okay.
So here we go. Yep, go on.
Okay. You're going to explain how it works. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, basically, he's going to ask a question, and then what we'll do is we will send our answers through a direct message to Aloof Balloon. and then he will kind of who's right and wrong. That way, we don't have to say it in front of each other.
Okay, I see. So I'll just text it back to you, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. What popular show started in 1987 as a short on the Tracy Ullman Show? And then what we'll do is I'll have you answer that. Just shoot me a DM.
You know, I've never actually seen the Tracy Ullman Show, but
Neither have I. But I've definitely seen this show.
okay, I'm gonna go for that.
Okay. So Simon said Roseanne, and Texas said Mork and Mindy, which is that's a good one. I believe Mork and Mindy started out as like an offshoot to something else. But no, the answer is The Simpsons. The cartoon is The Simpsons.
Oh.
They actually had 48 total shorts on that show, and then they got their own series in 1989. Yep, The Simpsons.
I was just rewatching the entire series on Disney Plus like not that long ago either. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Okay. Second one. U.S. President Ronald Reagan gave a speech in West Berlin on June 12th, 1987. What is the famous directive that he gave to Soviet Union leader Mikhail Gorbachev during that speech?
Sorry about my horrible spelling, but you know.
I like it. I got it.
I'm struggling here.
Yeah, he told Mr. Gorbachev to do something.
Yeah,
it's not really fair. You know me, Aloof. I listen to the Hardcore History podcast, and it's part of their intro music. So
that's true. Yeah. Actually, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right. So I'll give the answer, Simon.
Okay, go ahead.
So he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Famous words spoken at the Berlin Wall there. But I got okay. So third question here. This is more about video games. So I don't know how big of a video game player you are, Simon. Obviously, you designed them, but let's see if we get this one.
I was 11, so let's see.
Okay. The very first release of a famous Japanese video game franchise took place in 1987. This franchise has gone on to be one of the highest grossing video game franchises of all time at over $10.9 billion in revenue. What game is this? And of course, Simon, in 10 years, the answer will be Retro Bowl, but for now, it's a different company, or a different game.
I realise I'm sending this through the direct chat rather than a direct message on it.
That's all right. That's all right. You actually both said the same thing. Both Texas and Simon said Mario. That was close, but it's actually Final Fantasy, and I've actually never played Final Fantasy, so I have no idea. But
yeah,
Mario would have been a good choice.
Dang. It was between that and Zelda for me. I don't know how old those games are.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was, -7 years old, so.
I was -1. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's a British question. If I may sound so bold. The British Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, was elected for a third term in 1987. What was the nickname given to her that was associated with her leadership style and uncompromising politics. There was a nickname that Margaret Thatcher had.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Texas is weighing in.
I want to say the same thing. I saw his answer.
Wait, what? What is this answer, Texas? This is hilarious. All right, okay, all right. So the answer is the Iron Lady. Simon got that correct. Texas, you said Batcher the Thatcher. What is Batcher the Thatcher?
I was just trying to make something rhyme. I don't know.
I'm gonna start calling her that. All right, I love that. Batcher the Thatcher. Okay. Question number 5. In 1987, an Austrian entrepreneur named Dietrich, I'm going to pronounce it so wrong, Dietrich Mateschitz. I'm going, for everyone listening, I'm going to post that name, and someone tell me how to pronounce that, but I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, this Austrian released a popular energy drink in 1987. What was that energy drink? I'm sorry, Dietrich. I butchered that name so bad. Okay. All right. So the answer is Red Bull, and both Simon and Texas got it correct. This is actually the most successful trivia game that I've played. You guys have got more answers right than I think anyone in any of these. So kudos to both you guys. You're both tied up right now.
Yes. Oh wait, we're tied? Oh no.
Yes. Okay. Next question. The longest running #1 single of 1987 was tied between 2 songs. Can you name either of these songs? Poor Simon's shaking his head. He's wondering why he signed up for such a horrendous podcast. What has he got? What has he gotten himself into? Ooh,
oh, that's a good one.
Good guess. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so Texas said Time After Time or Footloose. And Simon said Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. Those are great 80s songs. Not the right answer, though. Either one of these would have been correct. Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, or my personal favorite, Faith by George Michael, R.I.P. George Michael. Careless Whisper, one of my favorite songs, but yes, Faith. I think Faith is the one where he shakes his butt with the jeans and everything, right? Is that the music video?
Yeah, the acoustic guitar.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I had to think of
His there you go. That dude's facial hair was on point. I could never do something like that. All right, one more question related to music. The first woman ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was done in 1987. Name this woman. She was the first ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep. No, wait, that's wrong. Damn. Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. I know it's wrong, but I don't know what the right one is.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Texas Stars said Joan Jett. Simon said Debbie Harry. Again, very good answers, and I think they may also already be in the Hall of Fame, but this was the first woman. The first woman ever was Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Yes.
Dang it.
Which does me all kinds of happiness. A local gal from the Detroit area. Shout out to Aretha Franklin. So, okay. 3 more questions, Simon. We're almost out. We're almost out of here. Okay. Another massively iconic video game franchise was released in 1987. Can you name this popular franchise that was developed by Nintendo? I'll give you some clues. They employed a top-down perspective where you would look down at the character. There were scrolling screens. You had to solve puzzles and defeat enemies in various dungeons. It's a franchise that's still around.
I feel like this is like Red Herring. I'm going to go for what I think is the obvious answer, but I think I'm wrong.
Oh, hey, there you go. Yep, you both got it right. So the correct answer was Zelda, and both you got it right. Texas, I saw a link, and that's like a classic. That's like a classic mistake, isn't it? It's like get the name wrong, but we will accept it. So.
Oh, I said Zelda first.
You said Zelda first. You did. I take that back. You're absolutely correct. All right. So Simon, you were 11. You said in 1987. So this would be a shout out to the young 11-year-old in you. What popular cartoon starring pizza-eating ninja brothers was released in 1987?
I remember it well.
And there you go. Yes. The answer is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Both you guys got it right. You cannot go wrong with that. I definitely was a big fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid as well. So we are still tied. So one last question here. When I was doing some research, the hours of research that I do for these podcasts prior to, I was researching some trivia about obviously 1987, and I found that 1987 is probably like the greatest year for movies of all time. Some of the greatest movies I've ever watched actually came from 1987. As a matter of fact, Rotten Tomatoes, the popular movie rating site, show rating site, has 23 certified fresh movies from 1987. Can you name one?
Oh.
And certified fresh just means that they've taken different reviews, critical reviews, user reviews, and assigned basically a 1 through 10 rating. And if the movie gets a high enough rating, it's considered certified fresh. There's 23 of those from 1987. Can you name one of those movies? And again, I said this earlier, when I was doing some research on that question, I was blown away by the amount of great movies from 1987. I'm a bit of an audio, well, I am too, but I'm a bit of a big movie critic fan, and I could not believe how many great movies were from 1987. So even if you're just taking a random guess, you may hit on one. So
yeah, there's lots to think of, but
oh man.
Go with this one.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if that one is. Let's take a look.
it's I mean, throwing like darts at a dartboard basically.
So Texas Stars said Terminator. That was not one of the ones that was on there. Although I will tell you, Arnold Schwarzenegger did star in another action movie that was on and that would be Predator, which is a great movie. And Simon said Back to the Future. I just looked it up real quick, Simon. That's from 1985.
Okay.
So not an answer. Yeah.
What about the sequels though? Was it a sequel like?
Ooh, let's take a look real quick. Back to the Future 2. 1989 was Back to the Future. I'm surprised there was a pretty good gap between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, Predator would have been one. A personal comedy favorite of mine, Spaceballs. If anyone out there has seen that, a great movie. Full Metal Jacket was another one. I mean, there's just so many great movies. But that is it. So Texas Stars with the comeback. Congratulations. Oh, actually, no, you both tied. I take that back.
Yeah, we tied. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just have to end in a tie. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine. It's just like soccer, right?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, we're penalty shootout now.
Yeah, exactly. A battle to the death. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I'll concede to this one. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. So Simon, speaking of other sports, do you have any plans, down the road? Have you considered other additional games? I mean, I saw you tweeted a couple weeks ago that you put out to the community, if I was to make another game, non-sports related, I think is what you requested, what would it be? So do you have anything cooking in the background that you'd like to share?
In terms of sports, there's nothing in the pipeline other than New Star Baseball, which, as I say, is a collaboration between me and a team that hopefully will have that ready in the next few weeks. It's sort of in beta mode at the moment, and the tweet, the cryptic tweet, I guess, was regarding a game. I'm working on something which is kind of retro, and I'm not going to say what it is just yet because nothing may come of it, and I might try and keep people guessing. So at the moment I'm just doing something that's non-sport related. But if I were to do a retro sport, I think it would be probably hockey because I used to love
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh my God. I grew up as a kid. I can still hear it in my head, the EA. It's in the game.
Yeah.
From NHL '94. That was my game.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
That would be the inspiration. So it may happen, but it wouldn't happen until next year, I don't think.
Got it.
Right. Awesome. Well, so is there? I wanted to ask. Are there any things that pop out? I guess you said you kind of follow leagues, but are there anything in particular with the leagues that you have had experience with that kind of just jump out to you as wow, like that's pretty cool, or like I don't know, something memorable, any memories that you have about just the community and the things that they've built?
Well, it's the whole lot is seeing people come up with these the uniforms and the names and the banners for the teams that they're running in the leagues. I love all that, the creative side of it, creating college leagues and things like that. So there's some great podcasts, some great YouTube videos as well. Just seeing people, run with it and doing their own thing is great fun. So I can't think of anything specifically, but it's
Right.
It's overwhelming the amount of good stuff.
Well, so we do have a member in our league that actually won a Twitter kind of poll, bracket for best Retro Bowl jerseys. His name is Tyrant. He's been in the podcast before. I'm sure you've heard of him. But yeah, he won the best Retro Bowl jerseys, which was a couple of weeks ago, I think. But yeah, it was a lot of fun in our server. We were all cheering him on and voting for him. So
cool. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's amazing how creative people can be with these 16 by 16 sort of sprites. So no, that's good to see.
So Simon, you referenced YouTube. Another person I'd love for you to take a watch. His name is Marching Ents, and his YouTube videos are fantastic. And I think it would be really interesting to get your feedback on him, his videos, because what he'll actually do is he'll break down the defense, and he'll before he even throws the ball, he'll go, "Yep, that linebacker's going to go this way, and I'm going to have to cut in." The way he breaks down the game is almost like a actual sportscaster. I would love for you to watch that, and then obviously maliciously change the way the defense gets played to just mess with his head a little bit, because he's really great at breaking down the defense and how it's going to react. So if you ever get a chance, his name again is Marching Ents. From Lord of the Rings lore. So yeah.
I see. Yeah, I know. No, I'll take a look because I don't want the game to be too predictable. And it's something I could do. Each time you update it, there's a few curveballs I could throw in there just to keep it fresh.
Ooh, you're gonna mess with that poor man's head. I feel bad. Sorry, Ents.
But it's been awesome. It's been fun, being able to figure that stuff out, and then turning around and making those videos to help out, newer players. And I think that's a great thing about the RBA too is a lot of players, they play retro bowl, they learn how to to win games. They may not play on the hardest difficulty, but they play and they learn and they have fun. And then when they've gotten to the point where they're like, okay, I've won the Super Bowl 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row. Now what? And then we kind of swoop in and say, look, all these people here are in the same boat, like, but we compete against each other. And so we bring them in, and we have a bunch of people like Ints, and I mean even Aloof to an extent, and we have a channel centered around it called War Room, which basically we share strategies and videos and such like that to kind of just help the community get better at the game, and in turn make the league more competitive. So it's a lot of fun doing all that stuff. So
Yeah, I mean that's kind of another aspect that surprised me, because one of the kind of light bulb moments when I was developing it early on was getting the players on the offense and defense to interact. So, initially it was just a quarterback throwing a ball to a receiver, but once I got that, I had to get the lineups working and players clashing with each other, and it just immediately felt good seeing this kind of impact. Um, but it was always quite simplistic. It was just there's not enormous amounts of AI going on under the hood. So seeing people get really in depth about the tactics and how to beat the defense is interesting because there's not as much going on as people think. I don't think. And that's true in lots of respects. People kind of imagine things in their head because they're into the role playing aspect of it. So they imagine the other teams are setting up to counter their play, or their teams in the same division are learning from playing you before, and all of that is completely it's just delusional.
you just hurt my feelings, Simon. You made it sound like passing is easy. I am awful at passing. And it's got nothing to do with you, how you set up the game, the mechanics, or anything. I think I just suck. But to hear you say that it's not as difficult as it may appear, man, I am I'm crushed. I'm so bad at it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not as difficult as it may appear. I'm saying it's more. There's not quite as much going on under the hood as people think.
Hear you.
It's
Gotcha.
not trying to outwit you as much as you think.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, yes, fair enough. Although it certainly feels like it, but
well, when you play it enough, you start to see patterns, and that's kind of what we're talking about with passing, is that you can see, okay, if this guy's lined up like this, then he's going to do this, and I'm going to throw it that way. So that's kind of what it's become.
Yeah, and that's one aspect that I can help improve. With each update, is trying just to throw in a few more formations and a little bit more AI.
Oh man, that would change so much. Wow. Okay.
So, since I got you here, I mean, since we're kind of talking a little bit more about like the mechanics of the game, Simon, if you'll indulge me a little bit here, does the offensive line impact the run game? And what I mean by that is, I know that they give the quarterback more time to pass by the nature of them preventing, obviously, like defensive linemen and linebackers, getting into the backfield. Is it the same case with offensive line for the running game? Do they impact blocking if I'm running, or is that mechanic more centered towards like the pass?
Well, it is designed to help you with the running game, because the stronger your line, the longer they'll tackle for. So
Okay.
the longer they'll stand up and block. So
Okay.
If a defensive lineman is engaged with one of your guys, then he can't tackle you as a runner. So as long as your guy's standing and blocking, he will stop that opposing player from getting to your runner. So in theory, yes. Whether it has as much impact as it should have, I'm not sure, because people have their own ideas about how easy the running game is, and how worthy it is to higher OL men. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's designed to, but it could probably do with some tweaking.
Oh my god, I'm loving this. This is what this is all about. I'm taking copious notes. I love it.
So I guess I have two kind of points. So first off, defense, right? When you're building a defense in Retro Bowl, is there an optimal amount of players or certain positions? Do they affect different things, or does it just go based off of ratings?
Now this is something that I've kind of lost touch with in terms of how it was coded. I'd have to delve into the mechanics of it all, because in theory, if you're buying 5-star defenders, then yes, it's going to make the game. It's going to make it's going to feel like it's easier to win and to score points, to stop the opposition scoring points. But in terms of the optimal lineup, and whether having multiple defenders or more, more than say 5-star defenders is going to have more impact than just having a 5-star coach and 2 or 3 good defenders. I can't say for sure. So that's something I do need to look at again, because it's been a bit of a contentious point, I think. So
sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think at least I'm just trying to voice what other people are saying. So yeah, it's definitely been something that people have questions about, and so that's why I thought I'd bring it up. But yeah, no, thank you for looking into that. That's awesome. The other thing was, so I believe I messaged you about AI, the computer team's ratings, and how they change in between seasons. And you told me that they can randomly change either offense or defense from, I think, minus half a star to plus a full star. And so me and another person in our community actually created a spreadsheet that laid out the entire schedule for every single team for all 4 sets of schedules that the game could possibly rotate through. And we've kind of created a tool to show which team has the easiest schedule and upcoming for the next 2, 3, 4 seasons. And we've kind of used that for certain leagues where you can change coaching jobs and get an easier schedule in order then to compete and score more points. So just that little bit of knowledge you gave me there, we kind of tried to make optimize it and monetize it. So it's been pretty cool.
That's that spreadsheet might have to be reworked with the next update.
Oh wow!
Because a lot of people have said that the AFL isn't strong enough. So sorry, the AFC isn't strong enough, and looking at it, I think there isn't enough movement between the teams that theoretically have the first draft picks. So in the next update, there will be a lot more teams sort of bouncing back when they're the lowest ranked team. They might gain more than a star in the following season.
Wow. Okay, so it'll be a little more dynamic then.
Yeah, that's the idea. And I've also tweaked it so that the AFC and the NFC will be more balanced, so it won't ever swing in one direction. In one conference being much stronger than the other. Each season should balance out a little bit more.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know, because my experience, it's actually the opposite. I've been in the AFC, and it's always been super tough. And then I switched everything over to the NFC recently, and I've been doing a lot better. So that's interesting.
Those damn Buffalo Bills, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's a common complaint, and I don't really know why, because it shouldn't be any different.
So, Simon, I have to ask. This is a little bit more of like an advertisement for you. You know, a lot of the guys, obviously, a lot of the leagues require to purchase the unlimited version, and then once they do, you know, they've got it. You've been very, very accommodating towards giving out releases of updates without any sort of additional purchases or anything like that. And I know some of the leagues have a restriction on being able to purchase additional CCs. So the question really becomes, you know, what can the community do for you to help you out? Whether, you know, I don't know if you've looked into potentially future updates having, you know, a cost associated with it. I mean, as a way to sort of pay it back to you for all of the work that you've done, for being the founder of these great communities, you know, someone that's listening right now, I know they would love to do something for you. Any suggestions? Any thoughts? I mean, is there anything that we can do to help grow your brand?
I'm not sure. I don't feel like I need anything in particular other than the sort of continuing support and growth of this community, because that's what's been the most rewarding thing. You know, the game's selling well. It's making money. It's the financial side of it is not something I'm concerned with. It's just about growing it further and yeah, just reaching more people and helping you know, people find the game. So anything you can do in that sense, and just reaching out to new players and helping in that way, that's just great. And that's all I ask really, is to continue that.
I love it. He's got some British modesty there. I definitely, you know, Texas can speak more to this than I could, but I definitely see anecdotally leagues growing and getting more in depth. As you can hear, Simon, we've got spreadsheets that are tracking your game and trying to break it and things like that. So definitely, I think Retro Bowl is here to stay for quite a while. And
definitely, when we started the RBA back in April, you know, we were thinking this is just a COVID thing, right? Like everybody's just home, and they're just in it because they don't have anything else to do. And we were thinking of contingency plans for when the inevitable, you know, drop off would happen back. And we were like, you know, people aren't going to want to do this in July. You know, by July, it's all everybody's going to go back to work and school, and here we are. You know, it's basically September, and we're, you know, the most, you know, the highest peak we've ever been at. And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. So it's been great. It's you know, a snowball basically.
Well, that's I must admit, when I see players that have got 100 leagues under their 100 seasons under their belt, I'm just baffled. You know, it's like, surely you're bored of it by now.
No way, no way.
Well, see, that's where we come in. Is it's like, you may be, you know, bored playing by yourself, but you come into this community and you could play 100 more, you know, Retro Bowl seasons and not even think about it, because, you know, we have the league play, which I don't know if you're familiar, but we have 4 tiers of leagues. It's very similar to European soccer, where it's promotion relegation. So it kind of incites competition there. And then we have a separate league kind of running parallel to it, where you can basically play fantasy football with everybody. So we have certain members who are general managers that can draft members of the RBA and use their Retro Bowl scores and add them up to as a team. And so it's kind of, you know, we just try to find unique and creative ways to keep everybody engaged. And I think that's our main goal in the RBA, is just to keep it fun, you know. And so it's been a blast just doing everything and building all the spreadsheets and building all the community and just you know, helping everybody have a good time. And Aloof here has been a big part of it too.
Yeah, man, 24 hours stream playing Retro Bowl. So no, you got to give yourself more credit there, Simon. I love the game, man. It's, like I said, it harkens back to me playing Tecmo Bowl as a kid. So it just touched on those sentimental days of, you know, more of a simplistic game, and absolutely love it. So yeah,
That's so good to hear. I mean, talking about Tecmo Boy, it was a fear of mine that I might kind of, tread on sacred ground there, and obviously it's inspired massively by that game. But I wanted to capture that retro feel, that 80s feel,
Yeah.
and I think that's really resonated with a lot of players. They just love the simplicity of it and the nostalgia of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I compared it a little bit to like Madden, because like Madden has gotten so, there's so much toxicity with that game, right? And there's complaints, and there's a lot of pay to play in the game now, and everyone's always talking about the next big thing, and here's the graphics, here's the mechanics, and all of the complexities of it. It kind of you all of a sudden you start to lose perspective that it's a game and it's meant to be enjoyable and something that you can connect with other people on. And again, I think that's why Retro Bowl just clicks, at least with me, is it just kind of harkens back to those old days of just more simplistic play where you're there to have fun and not get all caught up in the crazy, politics of a game, if there are politics to a game. So I think you've done a phenomenal job keeping it exciting, fresh, and fun, but not so complex and over the top that you start to kind of lose sight of its base, necessity. So, kudos, sir.
Well, no, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure making it. And it's a pleasure just interacting with the community. So, it's all good.
So, Texas, unless you've got any more questions that you'd like to throw at Simon while we've got him here, I was going to start winding this thing down. But if you do have anything you want to run at him,
no,
the floor is yours.
I think I'm good unless Simon has anything he wants to talk about.
No, I don't think so. It's been a pleasure talking, but no, just happy to keep interacting, and anytime you want to invite me back, I'll be willing to. No problem.
Oh, you heard it there. Okay, so Simon, just if you will indulge me one more time. I don't know if you've heard any of the other podcasts, but typically what I've done is had a series of 10 questions that I asked the guest, and it's kind of a nice way to put a bow tie on the thing and sort of end the podcast. If you're comfortable with it, would you like to engage with me on that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Texas has been on the podcast about a dozen times, and I think he's been asked these questions about a dozen times. So no need from Texas. I apologize, buddy, but we'll just stick with Simon on this one for today.
That's fine.
I probably could answer them for you now. I think I remember them all. So, okay, Simon. First question: what is your favorite word?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. All right. All right. That's a new one. I like it.
Might be the answer to another question as well. I don't know.
Yeah, they're very good. All right.
Don't worry. All the questions are like this, so just prepare yourself.
Yes. Correct. All right. Now, this one has a very popular answer across this podcast, but let's see if you have a new one. What is your least favorite word?
Oh gosh, I know what the common most least favorite word is, but it doesn't bother me too much. It's moist, right?
Oh my god, that warms my heart. Do you actually listen to the podcast? I feel like nervous now.
I've heard it. I've heard the podcast.
Oh god.
And
He's a fan.
Oh,
he's a fan. But, come on.
Let's say, what should I say? Oh gosh. Harbinger.
Whoa, all right. Any reason behind that? I'm interested. Any reason, or you just don't like the way it sounds, or what's the backstory?
It's just a weird, horrible word. I don't like it.
It's very Germanic sounding. Yes.
Yeah, it's just it's overly complex for what it means, I think.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Again, well, you've probably heard me say this, but I always put the little addendum here. This doesn't need to be sexual. What turns you on
Oh, I've said it already. Chocolate.
Ah,
There you
all right.
go.
For various reasons.
Well, so now I'm thinking. You said you were gonna make a game about like a kid living in like a high school environment and having friends and playing football and all that. Why don't you get in touch with like Willy Wonka? You do like a Willy Wonka thing, and like you run the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you've got the Oompa Loompas and all that. I mean, it seems to me like you could. I'm giving you.
Free advice here.
Yeah, you take it if you want. Yeah. Okay.
I get quite a few people that say, "Can you make me a game like this?" And it's like, no. You need to learn how to code and do that yourself.
I was gonna say, just do it, Simon. It can't be that hard, right?
Yeah.
No,
that sounds like a terrible game. Sorry.
Oh man. I'm gonna do it myself then. All right. I'm gonna call it Retro Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All right. What turns you off? People that come up with bad ideas for video games.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. No, just I don't know. People in general. Like when I don't know how would you sort of phrase this? I guess I'm an introvert, so I don't like public spaces too much. I don't like crowds. Public speaking. There you go. That's the one. That's the thing that I dislike the most.
Man, there's something very ironic about a guy who makes a game who is an introvert, and the game fosters a massive community of. That's hilarious. I like it.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Your idea.
Me and a laptop, right? So I can hide behind the screen when I'm making the game.
There you go.
I'm just thinking of your idea, Aloof, and you get the little player cards with the little Oompa Loompas, and they have like different names.
Like who made who made the most chocolate? Who got sucked up into that vortex that Augustus Goop got sucked up into? It's a great game, Simon. I want you to think about it. It's a great game.
It must have been done.
I don't think so.
It's had to have, right? And maybe not a mobile game.
You could have like a side quest where you run into the jungle. That's where the Oompa Loompas live. That's where Willy Wonka got. It's a great idea. I'm calling the Roald Dahl estate. I'll have them back me on it.
Oh my god.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
So hold on.
What sound or noise do you love?
An open fire.
Ooh, I like that. Very nice. Okay. Flip side of that, what sound or noise do you hate?
That's a tough one. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear my children right now.
I was gonna say the same. I don't know if you can hear mine, but I can hear mine, so I apologize.
That's actually one of the things I do love is hearing them play. But,
amen.
That's a really tough one. I'll just go with something obvious, like scraping your nails down a blackboard.
Ugh. Yes.
Yeah.
That really gets me.
Okay. Although you sound like a very well-educated, a very proper person. I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer this one either if you don't feel comfortable. But what is your favorite curse word?
Oh, let's think.
And having interviewed a couple different British members of our Retro Bowl Alliance League, the British have probably the best host of swear words I've ever heard. So
yeah, I was just about to say that.
they've elevated swearing to an art form. So
yeah, well, I do swear quite a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure what the favorite one is.
It's a good thing we don't have any Aussies on here.
I'll go with bollocks.
Always a favorite. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's it's an odd word. It kind of conveys a lot of different things in the right context.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic. Yes.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
That's easy. That's music production, making music.
Really?
That was kind of that. Yeah, there was a point in my early 20s where I was making computer music and learning to code at the same time. So, and I kind of went down this path, and I feel like there was another path. A sliding doors moment, if you like, where I just chose this direction.
Wow. Okay.
So at that point, did you happen to make all the music for Retro Bowl, the game?
No. I used what are they called? Forgotten the names. The Heatley brothers. The music in Retro Bowl is by two brothers.
Okay.
They make loads of retro sort of tunes like that.
So just out of curiosity, just to kind of stay on that just for a second here, what kind of music are you into, Simon?
I love all sorts really, but folk. I like sort of folk music, but also like electronica, that kind of stuff. So things like Sufjan Stevens absolutely floats my boat.
Nice.
But then on the flip side, I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Tourist. His stuff at the moment is absolutely blowing my mind. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I know Tourist. Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that really really inspires me. When I like electronic music when I'm coding. Just nothing with lyrics. Just something that I can just zone out to and get into the flow.
Have you ever had a chance to listen to Burial?
Yeah, not for a long time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've heard an album a couple of years ago, I think.
Nice. Oh, very cool. Okay. All right. Flip side of that question: what profession would you never like to try?
I think anything in politics. That just
yeah.
I don't know how people can do that.
I can feel that too. Aloof is sitting there just like twiddling his thumbs, but yeah, no, I agree.
I'm the future MP of Blackpool. I've already said it. I'll be an American working in the House of Commons. All right.
He has a 4-year-old daughter watch House of Commons, so
this is true. For some reason I apologize. I'm a massive. What would be the word? Fan? I suppose fan. Although I don't know if you can be a fan of politics, but
enthusiast.
I'm an enthusiast of British politics. I don't know why, but I've taken to the House of Commons specifically, and I'm so interested in it, and how you guys have so many different parties, and the way that you guys conduct. It's just very fascinating to me. I don't have much of a political opinion on it. It's just interesting to me. So, but I get your distaste for politics in general.
I think it's a thankless task, and I think American politics is mental.
Yeah, it's very very tribal, very tribal.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so tribal, but no, I just think that's something I just couldn't possibly undertake. The idea of trying to do the right thing, it'd be impossible, I think.
I hear you. Yep. No, it's a good one. Okay, last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Now it's hard to answer when I have when I completely
a hypothetical question, independent of any persuasions one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to just say like, well done, but it's just pathetic.
Well, I think that's a decent answer. I mean, mine,
Sure.
definitely was, good job. Everybody likes to be told that. So
Yeah,
There,
yeah. There must be something a bit more meaningful than well done. But yeah.
I don't
just,
know.
you know,
Isn't according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the ultimate answer to everything is 42? So so
just a well done pat on the back and just like, yep, next person. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, maybe it's something else like, you know, turn around and get back down there.
there you go. Get back down there and make that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory retro game. The world demands it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Yeah, well done on the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory game. Yeah.
Yes, very good. All right, Simon. I again thank you very much, buddy, for taking the time to jump on this podcast, this silly old podcast of rabid Retro Bowl fans. I cannot thank you enough for again the work that you've done, and it's because of you that you've linked me up with some great people. This guy Texas right here being one of them, and honestly, man, you've made at least my quarantine. This is to Simon. Really very enjoyable. And with everything going on, something about a little simplistic game just has really made the difference. So I cannot thank you enough.
Well, that's great to hear that. So no, thanks for being part of the community and expanding the reach of the game.
Absolutely. All right, Texas. I'll let you.
Yeah. I just wanted to repeat, that we've said probably a dozen times in this podcast, but thank you for everything you do, and I look forward to continue growing the community and working together to do that. And Aloof too, he's done some great things for us, including this podcast. So it's been a blast, and I can only see good things in the future. So this has been awesome. Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Cheers.
All right, this is the end of the Alliance After Dark podcast episode. Thank you all very much for listening in, and make sure to hit subscribe as this will be posted on YouTube. I appreciate it very much. All right, guys. Peace.